Welcome to Tell Me More podcast for Runner Radio. I'm Trina Wilcox. My guest today, Abby with Freedom for the Taking. Welcome.
Hi, thanks, Trina.
Well, I'm assuming is Abby Abigail Hobbs. Do you like to go by Abby or Abigail?
As an adult, I think I like Abigail better.
All right. All right. So tell me about Freedom for the Taking. I like the mission to educate and inspire individuals to create vibrant lives of freedom. Now that can be a
Yes, exactly. They're true. Yeah, so it's a nonprofit that I recently started. It's really new and upcoming. I had a therapeutic horsemanship business previous to this. So I've been an instructor and a teacher all my life. And it's kind of led me on this journey to really having a passion to help people to build and create a life that they love. Because really teaching and working with students and adults of all ages, I saw this need for, like a lot of my students had so much like self-doubt and hatred and anxiety, and even the moms that would come to drop off the kids for like riding lessons would be so stressed out. And so it's like I was constantly burdened, like I want to do more. Like I don't just want to teach kids to ride horses. There's so much more that's missing, and I want to be able to give that. And from my own experiences of kind of having to rebuild my own life in the past almost 4 years, has really kind of all of that desire to be able to give more to people, and then rebuilding my own life has brought me to this place of like, now I want to help other people do this. Like we have one shot in life, we have one precious life, and what are we doing with it? We don't have to live stressed out, on this rat wheel where we're constantly doing all the things for all the people and going to bed exhausted at night and waking up and just repeating it, doing it all over again, and trying to be all the things for all the people, but never feeling like enough. And I thought, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? We have one shot. Why are we living for everybody else's happiness and feeling guilty to be able to make choices for our own happiness? So that's really kind of, that's the big picture of taking my passion for working with people. And I love having fun, and I love bringing joy into people's worlds and saying, look, your life can be not just okay, it can be amazing. And it's not this fairy tale that we all just wake up one day and go, oh, look, I'm just going to make these choices and my life's going to be amazing. No, it's shit hard work. Like
Mhm.
you have to make the hard choices. You have to wake up every day. You have to do the things that are honoring to your journey. And yeah, people are going to give you hell to pay for it. And you will have loss, but you are going to be able to create your own path. And in that is so much freedom that it's like if you were to I feel like if I was to ask people, are you living a life of freedom, they would be like, well, sure. But it's like, no, if you're not waking up every day feeling free to make all the choices that are honoring to your life and your family, then maybe you should ask yourself if you're really free. So
So, all right. I mean, the biggest question, I want to believe you, but when you do wake up and you first thing that pops in your head are negative thoughts, bad words, and your world just feels like it's crumbling down, where do you start?
oh my gosh, that's such a good question. And in all honesty, it's like something I've been dealing with recently, trying to work on it myself, is learning how to, all those voices, the self-doubt and all of the things that you're just like, I know that I can so easily in an instant get swallowed by. I've been listening to a bunch of different podcasts, but one recently that Glennon Doyle was talking about, you know, realizing that these voices are a part of us, but it's not like our sensual being. So kind of learning to be the CEO of all of those different parts of you that come in and say, there's fear that says, you can't do this. This isn't going to work. Your whole life's going to fall apart. And then there's doubt that says, who do you think you are? You're not enough. And so there's all of these things that play in, but learning how to be like, see those things as that's not me. Those are just little parts and I get to kind of run the show and acknowledge those and say, yeah, like even this morning, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Do I know what I'm doing? I have this big vision, but is it really going to work? And then I just had to go, of course you're scared. This is hard. It's new. You're stepping out of a role. You've always been an instructor and a teacher, and this is a different way. So of course it's going to be scary. And so learning how first to like be the CEO of all of those thoughts. And two, like when I realized that I needed change, like my whole life needed a complete do-over. You know how they have those TV shows where they just do a whole makeover on the house? That's what like my life needed, a whole makeover. I first floundered and like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And then I was like, I need help. And I tell people like, I had to reach out and find support. I had to, and that wasn't my past connections, because my past connections would have drugged me back into being my past self. So it was to find support, professional support, even if just for a time, and reach out and say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. What are the first steps that I take? And so honestly, I didn't wake up and just have this like awesomeness, but I did go, I need help. I can't do this on my own. So support, I think, is the first step. And whatever that looks like for each person. Some people may have a really good best friend that'll hold you accountable and help you. Some people might want to go to a therapist. I mean, I think that I grew up with the concept that like, if God was going to fix everything, you don't need to go to a counselor or a therapist. And that's bullshit. And so I found a counselor and started getting my family in, and we started finding our footing. And it was a slow, painful process. Don't get me wrong. It was 3 years of a lot. I felt like I was in this deep, sludgy mud, just slugging through. And I remember like thinking, okay, like I'm going to have to like, put my big boots on and tie them up tight, because this is what it's going to be. But I feel like it's that thing of like, if you put in the time and you put in the effort to take control of your life and to take your freedom and say, no, I'm going to do what is honoring to me. I'm going to stop living this whole other life that everybody else wants me to live. The rewards and the benefits are amazing. And the peace that you can live in is available to you, but it doesn't come easy.
So where does freedom for the taking fit into that when someone realizes, look, I want to live up to my potential. I want that in my life. How does that fit in?
Awesome. Really good question. So I offer a variety of things, because I really feel like I didn't want there to be this one and only way to do it. I feel like there needs to be a lot of options, because everybody's different. And what works for one person is not going to work for another person. So I offer group sessions where like some people have a really difficult time in social settings. And so to be able to put them in a group setting and help them build confidence in a group setting, helps them to step out into their power in the world where you have to be in social settings. So I have like a special thing where there's group sessions and you can learn to build confidence inside of a kind of a safe, fun environment. And that's actually the only thing that I specifically do at my farm, because I have animals and I've created safe, peaceful places, and we incorporate all of that in fun and games. And so there's that aspect of it. And that's like a 6-week session to kind of build confidence all along the way. And then I have workshops for marginalized groups that I'm really, really excited about, that I'm focusing on really learning how to love yourself, because I feel like it starts there. If you can realize that you have value, then you will start making choices that are valuing to yourself. But a lot of times we don't love ourselves, and we don't value ourselves as much as we value everybody else, and so I'm really excited about those workshops, because it's going to be basically kind of helping them to discover how amazing they are. That's kind of my heart for those workshops. And I want to be able to even travel and give kind of those workshops, meet people where they're at. Those could be outdoors, they could be indoors. Also, I offer a class that specifically goes into the steps, the 5 building blocks that I use to be able to restart my life. And so kind of using my life experiences I teach about what those steps are, and then they can do follow-up classes and kind of, how do I apply this to my life? How can I go home and start these steps? And then I have some really fun things, but I really felt like they're important. So I have a mom's day camp that I had so many moms tell me they would come to my farm and bring their kids, and then they'd say, I want to do this. Like, I need something like this. And so I was like, well, then we can do a mom's thing. Moms need, like, we are so used to giving out of empty cups. Like, we need to learn to fill our cup and give when there's overflow, not give when they're empty.
Yeah.
And so that's a 3-hour slot time that moms can come and join a group and have fun, but also rest and rejuvenate and kind of be able to recenter themselves. It's a moment to be able to recenter yourselves and make sure that you are working out of your values and your standards for your own life. And so you can go home and feel like, okay, I feel centered. I'm ready to go on. I have more in my cup. And I have play dates. I have always been a person that loves having fun. I bring play into my life. It's my coping skill. I tell people, they're like, you're so fun. I'm like, honestly, it's my coping skill. It's like it's how I stay alive. It's how I don't just become depressed and really sad, So I read this book, and by Dr. Stuart Brown. It's called The Power of Play.
Okay.
And he talks about the opposite of, let me see, I got to get this right. The opposite of the opposite of play. People, if you ask people what's the opposite of play, they usually say work.
Right.
And he says the opposite of play is depression.
Oh.
And so he talks about the science behind play and why, as humans, we are wired to play our whole life, and how it makes us more effective in all areas of our life if we are implementing play into our life. And for each person, that looks different. What's fun for you may not be fun for somebody else. Gardening for somebody is really fun, and somebody else is like, no, don't make me garden.
Right.
So everyone learning how to find what brings that playful aspect back into your life can be really simple, but it's like this lost art, because we're taught, you grow up, you stop having fun, you put your head to the grind, and you just do it. You do all the things. Yeah. And so what happens is, we lost this thing that kids, they just create and they're having fun. And so we become adults, and now we got to be serious, and we lose that. And then what happens is all the other areas of our life suffer because of that. So I have actual play dates where people can come and learn how to implement play back into their life. And then the last thing is offering personalized experiences. So if somebody's really struggling and none of that stuff fit for them, maybe they didn't want a group setting, they wanted to just like a one-on-one, I offer that tailored so they can meet with me and say, look, this is where I'm at in my life. I don't want to be here. Can you help me figure out what the steps are? There's that option.
Okay. So you've got a teaching background. What are your credentials for the one-on-ones and the groups and whatnot?
Really, my credentials are experience.
Okay. So it can be the best. I just think it's great to be upfront with people. Some people actually look for that over certain. I think it's great to tie in everything you can. Sure. Something a therapist might be able to provide, someone that's doing life coaching or personal experience can, really create this catalyst of an epiphany for someone. So that's fantastic. Right. And then back to your groups and your sessions, are these, do you have a target age group? Are they only adults, or do you have kid sessions too?
No, it's a variety. So It would be, so if I had, people say, hey, we have a group of teens we like, I really offer it to anybody. The play dates actually are specifically for adults though. And that might catch people off guard, but that's kids know how to play.
Yeah.
It's adults.
You're right. We get to this. You think one of the things we would learn as adults is, hey, we're grown-ups, we should be better at relaxing and playing, but we lose that so fast. And this horrible, adulting, which I've grown to hate the term. It's like, yes, we've got to be grown-ups, but why is there such a negative connotation? It should be fun to be an adult, and it's just turned to dread, it feels like, for so many people.
Yeah, that's a really good point because we're supposed to get better at everything, right? So why is it not expanding into that?
Yeah, yeah. So when that comes to a loss, it feels like freedom for the taking would be a great place to turn. Where can people go to get more information right now?
So I don't have a current website for Freedom for the Taking. I'm working on that. I do have a Facebook page,
Okay.
so they can find me at Freedom for the Taking on Facebook. I have an Instagram, Freedom Zebra Coach, and I've posted some reels about who I am, what I do. I'll be posting more stuff this week. Specifically, is basically like my intro week, so you'll be seeing more details, and like it'll kind of break each thing down and tell the what it offers and the cost and all that stuff on Instagram and Facebook. I also have a blog that I do every week. I have two blog posts that come out a week, and that's Bike to Type.
Okay.
So if people want to kind of learn more about me, that's my personal healing journey. So I
Okay.
go there. That's my therapy. I blog out kind of my life. So if they want to learn more about kind of me as a person, they can go to biketotype.com. And then I have a podcast called Coffee in the Corral,
Okay.
and they can check that out. That comes out every Monday. It's got my life story on there. It's got a lot. So
Okay.
yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abigail Hobbs. Freedom for the taking. Appreciate your time and come back when you have more to share.
thank you, Trina, so much.
Thanks.